People who think that, well, maybe we could just implement tougher gun laws, it's going to solve it. Chicago and LA and New York disprove that thesis.
Welcome back to the Two-Way Report. You have probably heard of that mass shooting in a mall in Allen, Texas. If after hearing of it, your immediate reaction was to advocate for stricter gun control measures, it is important to consider an alternative perspective. Allow me to illustrate why your stance may be misguided. Numerous individuals are inquisitive about the potential outcomes of such measures. Recently, there was discussion surrounding a poll indicating a substantial majority of respondents favor legislation aimed at diminishing gun violence. These proposals include measures such as strengthening background checks, enforcing existing gun laws, and raising the minimum age for purchasing certain firearms. The nature of these polls is intentionally designed to mislead, as the questions are formulated to elicit a specific desired response. This manipulation is achieved by embedding the preferred answer within the question itself. Naturally, if individuals are asked whether they support laws aimed at reducing gun violence, they are likely to respond affirmatively. What other response could be expected? Would they say, "No, I prefer laws that increase gun violence"? The wording of the question assumes that these laws unquestionably lead to a reduction in gun violence. However, those who critically examine these proposed gun laws can readily recognize that this assumption does not hold true once they look beyond their superficial appeal. Let us delve into the topic of background checks, specifically focusing on the case at hand. As reported by CNN, it has come to light that the mass shooter in question was formerly employed as a private security guard, a profession that necessitates undergoing rigorous training and background checks. According to the Texas Online Private Security Database, the individual in question was approved to work as a security guard in Texas from April 2016 until April 2020, when his license expired. During his tenure, he underwent Level 2 and Level 3 security training, which encompassed familiarization with security laws in Texas, as well as firearm training and a demonstration of proficiency in handling firearms. It is crucial to note that private security guards in Texas are subjected to background checks, and individuals with a history of certain crimes such as assault, burglary, or sexual offenses, among others, are disqualified from holding such positions as outlined by the Texas Department of Public Safety website and state codes. The stringent requirement of a background check is especially vital for individuals carrying firearms in their line of duty as private security guards. However, it is worth mentioning that these background checks occurred subsequent to the perpetrator's discharge from the Army in 2008 on account of mental health concerns, as reported by sources including WFAA and ABC News. These sources also indicate that the individual in question has expressed extremist views and demonstrated animosity towards individuals of diverse racial and religious backgrounds, particularly people of color and Jewish people. Despite these concerning aspects, the perpetrator did not possess a criminal record. When it comes to the proposal of raising the minimum age to purchase firearms, it is noteworthy to consider the age demographics of individuals involved in mass shootings. In the case at hand, the shooter was 33 years old. Additionally, a significant majority of mass shootings are perpetrated by individuals who are over the age of 21, with the median age being 32. These statistics shed light on the fact that age alone may not be the determining factor in preventing such tragic events. It is crucial to acknowledge the perspective shared by Texas Governor Abbott, who has stated that shootings occur in states with varying degrees of gun control, suggesting that stricter regulations alone may not address the root cause of these incidents. This viewpoint prompts us to delve deeper into the complex factors contributing to mass shootings, indicating that the issue may not solely lie in the accessibility of firearms based on age restrictions. In search of a swift resolution, people often overlook the necessity of a long-term approach, particularly when it comes to addressing the complex issue at hand: mental health. It is essential for individuals to grasp the dynamics surrounding the gun control lobby and its affiliated politicians, primarily associated with the Democratic Party. While this observation may seem politically charged, it is a factual observation to note that the majority of politicians backed by anti-gun groups align with the Democratic Party. However, it is crucial to differentiate their approach from genuinely tackling the mental health issue. Rather than sincerely addressing mental health concerns, their primary objective appears to be leveraging these concerns to support their gun control agenda. This distinction is significant. To emphasize this point further, consider organizations like Walk the Talk America, whose objective is not driven by political motives. Walk the Talk America actively collaborates with the mental health community, seeking to bridge the gap between mental health awareness and responsible firearm ownership. Their focus is on finding a balance between these two areas rather than exploiting mental health as a means to advocate for gun bans. It is unfortunate that these politicians and certain gun advocacy groups show reluctance to engage with such organizations as their goals do not align with using mental health as a tool to advance their gun control agenda. This may sound harsh, but there is no instant solution to minimize, let alone eradicate, the occurrence of mass shootings. Resolving this issue will require dedicated effort and a considerable amount of time. However, the key lies in addressing the right problem. Continuously advocating for gun control measures, which have proven ineffective, will only perpetuate the cycle of shootings. It is crucial for people to truly awaken to the reality of the situation we face. Sadly, these shootings have become distressingly normalized in our society. To illustrate, State Senator Roland Gutierrez, representing Uvalde, has introduced several gun reform bills during this legislative session. In a recent tweet, he expressed his frustration, stating, "There is a special place for people who watch all this happen and choose to do nothing," accompanied by the hashtag blood on their hands. Such rhetoric is dangerous, as it further divides our nation and fosters an extremist mindset that can ultimately lead to the perpetration of these heinous acts. It is important to note that in this situation, there is a striking absence of any acknowledgement or condemnation directed towards the actual perpetrator of the shooting. Instead, the focus is predominantly placed on expressing contempt for individuals who simply hold differing opinions on how to ensure our safety. This glaring disparity raises an alarming question. How can we hope to find a solution to this issue when the opposing side of the conversation essentially equates us with a murderer? In fact, the situation worsens as the individual in question fails to address the actions of the perpetrator at all. This effectively places us in a position even lower than that of the murderer. It is highly unlikely that Roland Gutierrez would be willing to engage in a constructive dialogue with someone who supports the right to bear arms because his intention is not to have a genuine conversation. Instead, he expects compliance with his own agenda. And if individuals deviate from his prescribed course of action, he asserts that they bear responsibility for the bloodshed. President Brandon has once again raised concerns about gun laws, emphasizing the urgency to take swift action to prevent the alarming familiarity of tragic incidents. The president's statements highlights the supposed need for more decisive measures to save lives. Specifically, he expresses his readiness to sign a bill banning assault weapons immediately upon reaching his desk. However, it begs the question, why is there such a focus on assault weapons when the majority of mass shootings are actually carried out using handguns? The disparity between the two is substantial, with the prevalence of handguns far exceeding that of assault weapons in these incidents. Recent events, such as the tragic incident in Brownsville, Texas, where a driver ran over asylum seekers waiting at a bus stop near a migrant shelter, serve as a stark reminder. This incident resulted in the loss of another life, bringing the total death toll to at least 8, with 9 others sustaining injuries. Surveillance footage captured moments before the crash depicts approximately 20 individuals waiting at the bus stop. This prompts an intriguing thought. If a bill were presented to President Joe Biden calling for a ban on assault SUVs, would he be inclined to sign it? The point being made is that regardless of what is banned, individuals determined to carry out mass murder will find alternative means. A chilling example can be found in the devastating incident in Nice, France, where a single individual driving a truck claimed the lives of 84 people, including numerous children, and left over 400 others injured. The assailant was ultimately stopped by the intervention of a firearm. Undoubtedly, the belief that even one mass shooting is too many holds true. However, it is crucial to remember that the United States is home to a vast population of over 300 million individuals. It is important to maintain perspective when considering mass shootings, which are classified as incidents where 4 or more people are killed. Comparisons to countries with significantly smaller populations can skew the perception, as mass shootings comprise less than 1% of all shootings committed within our nation. Indeed, mass shootings are undeniably horrific, and the mere idea of being randomly targeted while engaging in everyday activities like shopping is horrifying. However, it is essential not to allow politicians to exploit this fear to manipulate us into relinquishing our right to self-defense. This is precisely what we mean when we discuss safeguarding our Second Amendment rights. Our focus is not on hunting, sport shooting, or pursuing hobbies. Instead, it revolves around preserving our capacity to defend ourselves and our loved ones. This is the core of the matter. The Second Amendment states, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. It does not specify handguns alone, but rather encompasses the broader category of arms.